Top story today isn't a headline, it's the reason behind half the headlines we cover every week. Hydration, fatigue, sleep, recovery, they all trace back to minerals, and most of us are getting it wrong. This is Biohacking News. Hello and welcome to Biohacking News. I'm Tony Wright and going to go straight on and bring on Caroline Allen, mineral replenishment expert and co-founder of Beam Minerals. Caroline, welcome to the pop-up studio here in London.
Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here.
We're going to talk about minerals today. What exactly are most of us getting wrong with minerals and why?
The biggest thing people are getting wrong about minerals is just the misunderstanding that you can take single minerals and replenish in a good way. Your body is an ecosystem, and ecosystems like small incremental amounts, balanced amounts of all the minerals. When you use single minerals, which is what I call megadosing, which means minerals measured in milligrams, you create imbalance in your gut and you create imbalance in your body.
Right. And what is the difference between minerals? This might be a bit 101, but I feel like I need to ask it. I've been in the health and wellness world for many years and I'm still going to ask this question. What's the difference between minerals and electrolytes?
So electrolytes are minerals that have a strong electrical charge. So I'll do that again so that you can edit it. Electrolytes are minerals with a strong electrical charge. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what most people think of when they think of electrolytes are a lot of what we call the salt-based electrolytes. So, you've got magnesium, potassium, calcium, sodium that you take in your little electrolyte stick pack. Those are what I call megadose minerals. Not really actually very good for you, I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh, really? I think it's interesting that, on my personal sort of health journey, and having dealt with a lot of histamine intolerance issues, I have found at times where I don't feel so well, I get this intense sort of feeling in my body that the mineral balance isn't quite right, and often I'm very thirsty as well. Does that happen for a lot of people?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is one of the connections that I want to make. And I think a lot of people who understand and are maybe using electrolytes understand the relationship between hydration and minerals. That's the connection, is electrolytes. The problem is your intestinal tract, your gut is a freshwater system. Right. It's not a saltwater system. Your blood is a saltwater system.
Yeah.
Your gut is a freshwater system. And all of the microflora and microbiota inside your gut, they all thrive in a freshwater system. So when you put large amounts of concentrated salts, when you eat, you get salt, you put salt on your food, but it's mixed in with a lot of other nutrients. When you take straight salt, like these salt-based electrolytes, and you flood your gut with salts all the time, it's not really great for the microbiome. So what I tell people is go take your salt-based electrolyte pack and put it on your house plant for a few days and see what happens.
Oh, what will happen? Will it kill it?
It's not. Yeah, it will. If you keep feeding that to your house plant, your house plant will not thrive.
And so, what are the sort of downstream effects when we're getting it wrong? I'm guessing it's sort of fatigue or poor sleep or gut problems, since it's a freshwater system. Yeah,
and so when you take, when you're putting minerals into your body, the best way for you. So let me explain. Minerals work in these balanced ratios with one another, and they're pretty specific ratios. So let's say you're using magnesium for sleep. A lot of women use magnesium for sleep, also lots of people for relaxation at the end of the day. But what you're actually doing is your body says, okay, I've got a concentration of magnesium in the gut, and now I have to balance it. And what does it balance with? Calcium and phosphorus. And where does it get that? From your bones. So years ago, I had trainers of elite athletes coming to me saying their aging athletes were getting osteopenia, even some with osteoporosis, because they've put so much magnesium, potassium in their systems on a regular basis throughout their training, that their body's trying to balance these megadose amounts, these concentrations, by pulling it. Where does it get it? From the bones and teeth.
Oh, that doesn't sound good at all.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the thing we don't understand, is like, if you think of your body, so the body is made, your entire body is made of cells. And every single cell requires a whole complete set of minerals, not just magnesium or potassium or calcium or phosphorus, or, I mean, there's minerals people have never heard of, like molybdenum, manganese.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole bunch of, I mean, a lot of people have heard of manganese, but there's lots of minerals that most people have never heard of. And you actually need all of them in balance for it to support your whole system. Yeah.
So now you're a mineral educator, and because obviously a lot of us are getting it wrong, and I'm fascinated to know how we can sort of fix it. And we're talking today in London, aren't we? Because the Health Optimisation Summit is just coming up, and people will be listening to this after it's happened. But it's just this amazing moment in London where you've got all these incredible health people coming in, and you're on the lineup, aren't you? You're not talking. You're doing a fireside chat.
Yes, Dr. Chris Motley and I will be sitting and talking about what we call the mineral reset.
Yeah, great. And I'm sort of interested, just before we talk about how to fix it, how you ended up in this position. Because I know you used to work in tech, and then, like many of us who work in this world, there's a journey that ends up to sitting in this chair today.
Yeah. So, I grew up with an autoimmune condition. I had a very bad mold exposure event. I've had bad gluten intolerance all my life. So I had a lot of health issues, low thyroid. Then I got into a tech career. I also had 2 children without doing any replenishment in my body, working 50, 60-hour weeks, with young children. And I completely burned out. At that time, it was about 2010, I had flatlined adrenals, really bad inflammation in my gut, even after being gluten free for 7 years, and I could never get over the problems in my gut. I had recurring sinus infections, had bone loss in my teeth from gingivitis, really bad inflammation in my mouth. So I was in bad shape, okay? And a friend of mine at that time suggested I try these plant-based minerals, and I was a little reticent. I was like, okay, one more thing. He said, come on. And it was just a small little cup of liquid, tasted like water. I drank it. It was like, oh, okay, this is easy. And I took it every day. After 2 months, I went to my dentist, and I had been working with this dentist for over a year. I had been to 3 different dentists trying to heal the problems in my mouth. And she looked at my mouth. Everything was, the tissues were pink and healthy. There were no deep pockets. She was like, what happened? I said, I don't know. Maybe it's these minerals. Then 4 months in, I went to my naturopath to have see the results of the adrenal test. Same thing. They were 1/3 of the way up the chart. And we had been working for a year trying to just jumpstart my adrenals. And at the last appointment, she'd given me a prescription for hydrocortisone, which I wasn't going to take. She was amazed. So over the space of 8 or 9 months, all of the symptoms that I had, I had huge histamine problems. I woke up at night 3-4 times a night, with the adrenal fatigue, and then the sinus problems and the gut problems, and they all resolved.
Really?
All of those resolved.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. Minerals? Like, no. I mean, I've been to every kind of doctor, expert, practitioner, you name it, I've done it. Never did anyone mention that I might be mineral depleted. No one.
So at that point, were you still working in your tech career, or had you given it up because of the burnout was too much?
Yeah, at that point, I had crashed, and I actually started working for my brother. I had been a project manager of huge tech projects, and I started working for my brother managing a small construction projects.
Okay.
Because I just needed to downsize.
Yeah. But then it obviously had such a profound effect on you. You were like, right, this is going to be my new business.
No,
I'm going to start educating other people.
No, actually what happened was I said, how could this little cup of minerals make such a difference in my health when all the things I had tried had not? So I started researching, and that's what happened. Is I went down the rabbit hole, and at that time, I mean, I didn't know any of the words. I couldn't read a scientific article.
Yeah.
I mean, I would read an article, and I would sit there and be looking up every word and going, okay, now I'm going to have to study about cellular biology and microbiology and cell membranes, and I mean, I had to get very, very detailed so that I understood every word, and I just was on fire to understand it. So I just kept going deeper and deeper. And at a certain point, what happened was I had these kind of aha moments where I went, wait a minute. No one is talking about minerals. No one understands how minerals actually work. And so people are, struggling with these multiple sets of chronic symptoms if they start supporting from underneath, supporting your whole system. It's like, all the boats rise off the sand when the tide comes in.
Yeah. So, and so in that cup that you were drinking, what exactly was in the cup?
What was in it is something called humic and fulvic. And these are plant-based mineral complexes. So each of the humic molecule, there are two molecules. Humic is a molecule, fulvic is a molecule. And they have different properties, different sizes, but they both carry the full spectrum of minerals that your body needs, already pre-formulated by nature in the natural ratios that your body needs.
Right. And so do they take the place of things like magnesium, potassium, whatever it is?
They totally do.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. If you think about, let me do a really quick 101 on minerals, okay? Yeah. So, because most people have no concept of minerals, maybe you've heard, maybe I should be taking them, at least electrolytes. Most people know about that. But here's the thing about minerals. Most minerals operate inside your cells. So you put minerals, you take it into your mouth, maybe take a stick pack of electrolytes or take your magnesium at night, and it goes into your gut. Now it has to be digested. It has to be absorbed through the lining of your gut into your bloodstream. And then it has to be assimilated into your cell. It has to get around your body into the cells, because inside your cells you have these little powered energy generating units called mitochondria. Now, mitochondria are inside the cell, and they utilize the minerals to generate energy in the body. Now, you have to really think about what it takes to get something from your mouth, digested all the way down to its chemical components, absorbed through the lining of the gut into your bloodstream, and then into your cells. And there's lots of problems in that process. Maybe you don't have any good enzymes in your gut, so things don't break down well. Maybe you've got inflammation in your gut lining, so things don't absorb well. Maybe you've been eating a lot of seed oils, so your cell membranes are all clogged and not healthy, so you're not assimilating well. You see, there's all these problems, so you put, let's say, 500 milligrams of magnesium in your mouth, only 5% ends up in your cell.
Right. But humic acid and fulvic acid is absorbed better.
Yes. So, and particularly, so there are different ways you can get humic and fulvic, and let's talk about what they are. So humic and fulvic come from the decomposition of freshwater plants.
Right.
Now, ancient freshwater plants, like think of rainforests back when the dinosaurs lived. Meteor hit the earth, killed nearly all of the life on our planet in a few hours. All of those rainforests died and decomposed and became this substance called humic and fulvic. In the Himalayas, we have shilajit. A lot of people take shilajit. Yeah. In the UK here, there's peat. People use peat. In the Amazon basin, something called terra preta. We use a material called humate. It's a dark, crystalline, sandy substance that comes from about 10 to 12 feet below the earth. Incredibly mineral-rich substance. The thing we have to get is that because all cells on Earth require minerals to function, nature created the perfect molecules to deliver those minerals in the balanced ways directly into the cells. And that's what humic and fulvic represent.
Wow, that's nuts.
Exactly. You see, life on this planet would not have thrived if we couldn't get minerals from outside cells in a whole balanced way into cells. If you think about nature, wherever we have concentrations of a single mineral or a couple of minerals, cellular life doesn't thrive. It's where things thrive is like, think of a forest floor. You've got lots of decomposing plants that are delivering their minerals back into the soil. Now everything's lush and all the cellular life thrives.
Yeah.
Because everything's coming in a balanced way. Small incremental amounts over a long period of time, consistently.
So I feel like a lot of people are listening to this and just like thinking what I'm thinking, which is I'm going to find you at the weekend and start taking some of your stuff.
Yeah. Well, let me talk about humic and fulvic and how they work, because this is the cool thing. So I'm going to talk about fulvic first, because fulvic is a molecule that holds all of the minerals your body needs in the pre-formulated natural ratios that your body needs them, because the pre-formulated ratios that your body needs is exactly the same as all cellular systems on Earth.
Right.
All cellular systems on Earth use the same formulation.
Is that right?
Yes. A tree,
nice. Yeah.
a plant, another animal at the sea.
I was so smug, wasn't I? I was like, my laptop won't be making any noise. It's all switched off. Don't worry about that. It's probably a WhatsApp.
Anyway.
We'll leave that in. Don't worry about that.
At a cellular level, all cells on Earth utilize the same ratios of minerals, okay? So the fulvic molecule is an amazing molecule. It's unlike any other molecule on Earth. It's a delivery system for minerals into your cell. So your cells recognize fulvic as a beneficial substance. Any channel that opens in your cell wall, like we're in a room and we open a door, any channel that opens, the fulvic gets a free pass through. So it comes in through the door, and then it does something that no other molecule can do. It changes its polarity. It's like if you had a magnet and you had things attached to it and you turned off the magnet, those things would fall off.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Right.
It's the only molecule that they know of that can change its polarity. So it changes the polarity. It delivers its bolus of minerals, full spectrum of minerals in the right ratios into the cell. Then it travels around in the cell and it picks up biowaste, toxins, heavy metals, nanoplastics, glyphosate, all of those things that your body needs to get rid of, viral detritus. It carries them out of the cell, changes its polarity again, and drops those things in the bloodstream. Now its partner, the humic molecule, which is much larger than a cell, I call it Mother Nature's janitor. It literally just travels around in your bloodstream, picks up all those biowaste toxins, heavy metals, nanoplastics, senescent cells, all sorts of free radicals. This is why it supports histamine activity, because it gathers those things that are creating that reaction. At a certain point, this molecule's got all these things clinging to it. It gets so heavy, it falls out of suspension, sort of like if you mix some powder into a glass and then it fell to the bottom of the glass, that precipitation, that's what happens. It falls out and it leaves your body through every elimination channel. And that's really important, because what we know about detox is a lot of times certain channels have to be open before you can detox properly. But this will use your tears, your snot, your sweat, your saliva, your earwax.
Yeah.
Uses every potential channel.
Does it?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I was going to ask you, because obviously you mentioned histamine, and I've got this whole separate audience of people with histamine intolerance. And I guess, having been through every issue there is possible to go through with histamine intolerance, one of those is detox. Whereas if something really agrees with me sometimes, I had to take it in very small quantities at first, because I have this huge Herxheimer reaction if it sort of agrees with me too much. And even now, I told you before we started recording, I've been taking some binders with humic acid and fulvic acid, and which really agree with me. But the recommended dose is 3 binders a day. Well, I take about a quarter of 1 binder a day. And if I took a whole one, oh my goodness, it's just way too much for me.
You're exactly the way I am. So, and plus my DNA, I have really not positive detox channels the way my body works. Because of just the way my DNA is. So I've always struggled with detox. It's one of the reasons I struggled so much as a young child and had, autoimmune, et cetera, was because of that, what I know now. So here's a couple of interesting things we should talk about with humic. Particularly, so first of all, fulvic, and this is one of the beautiful things about our products, is that we've separated the fulvic from the humic. So when you take fulvic, really nobody ever has any kind of Herxheimer or detox response with fulvic, because you get detox responses when things are trying to leave your body. Fulvic doesn't have anything leaving your body. It's just going from inside the cell into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can get replenished with minerals, giving your body more energy production capacity, because it's getting more minerals into the mitochondria so that more energy generation can happen without creating detox. So that's really important for people with histamine, with very sensitive systems like myself. Okay.
Yeah.
The humic is different. And so particularly for people with histamine, one of the nice things about our product, again, is because it's liquid, we have what we call the slow introduction method. It's written on our website, etc. And we start people like you and like me, a quarter teaspoon in an 8 or 10 ounce glass of water.
Love that.
And then you just do that for 3 or 4 days. Your system goes, okay, yeah, I can handle that. Add another quarter teaspoon. Maybe at some point you go, oh, I feel something. You probably, most people who have this, they know what kind of symptoms. I get a rash or I get pimples on my face.
Yeah.
Like that's how I can tell. And then I just slow down and then I go do it. So, and this is for me, I've been taking, well, we should actually say before I had COVID, I never had any detox response. I could take a whole shot of our humic, no problem. Something about COVID really tweaked my system.
Did it?
So, yeah. So I continue to be very sensitive to humic, but it's really important to take it anyway. But you just try to manage that over time, with small amounts. It's really nice. That's the challenge with Shilajit, is that the humic and fulvic are together.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to take, you end up taking such a tiny amount, or you're actually going to get the benefit.
Well, it's nice to meet someone else who's sensitive as well. People don't get it.
No,
My
they
wife,
don't.
she could take 10 times the amount of most supplements that I can take. And the other sensitivity I've got is, and a lot of people with histamine intolerance have this, I'm extremely sensitive to smell. So I would say to my wife, what's that smell? She'd be like, what?
I'm the same way. I went into a house. We were looking for a house. I went in the house. They had those little things they plug in with scent. I literally couldn't go in the house. I was in there for 5 minutes. Like, I have a headache. I can't go in there. Yeah.
I know. I think my wife thinks I'm high maintenance. I had to ask her not to use an essential oil spray of lavender the other day. I was like, I can't sleep.
Here's the thing that I want to give you. I really want to say is, I'm older. And all of my life, growing up, I was a sensitivo. In my family, I was always the problem because things were bothering me. I was headaches, all this stuff. But what I've realized is that now I look at, how I am, like my health, because I've had to pay such close attention to my health, I'm actually much healthier.
It's hard to
longevity.
look at it like that when you're struggling, but it is a gift. Yeah,
It is.
But it's just hard to look. And let's be honest, neither of us would be sitting here now working in this field that we're obviously really passionate about if it wasn't for that.
It's so true.
Just hard to accept sometimes.
It's hard to imagine that minerals, of all things, could support so many things.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I really want people to understand is when you don't have enough minerals in your body, so your body in a day generates about 1,200 watts of energy, of electricity, but we're not plugged into a wall. Where does that energy come from? The fuel is minerals and amino acids. Your body makes amino acids, not all of them, but many. It makes no minerals. They all have to come in from the outside. And once you actually learn how to replenish minerals, your body has enough energy so it doesn't have to pick and choose what it can and can't do. It begins to be able to do everything.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I know.
Yeah. I'm going to be taking some shots of your elixir over the weekend.
Only the fulvic for you. Or you can put
the slow introduction method.
Yeah, the humic into your water bottle, maybe.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Though you probably wouldn't get a response from taking it one time. I did have that one. A guy who works for us, the first time he took it, he got a rash all over his body. He was not happy, and I explained to him, and now he takes it every day.
Yeah. And it's just,
and it's no problem.
It's showing that it's working, but you just need to start slowly. That's nice. And actually, to be honest, all supplement brands should do that.
Well, this is the thing that again, back to the body as an ecosystem. Your body works a lot like a forest. If you took a wheelbarrow of magnesium or a wheelbarrow of I don't know, name another supplement that you take every day.
Potassium
methylene blue, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you threw it on the forest floor, would that area thrive? So really, especially when you're starting things, if you want to be gentle and loving with this ecosystem, start slow. Empty out the capsule, see how it feels.
So if you could give listeners to this podcast one mineral mistake to stop making right now, what would it be?
If I was only going to give them one, I'd say stop using those salt-based electrolytes.
Right.
I mean, if you want to put a pinch of salt in your water, okay. But I'm telling you, a full spectrum plant-based mineral supplement replenisher is going to be worlds better for your gut, worlds better for hydration. You want to be hydrated. Don't mess up the salt, the osmotic balance in your gut with salt-based electrolytes.
It sounds to me, a couple of the guests that I've got coming in after you, we're going to be talking quite a bit about athletes.
Yes.
Because because the crossover between the longevity and biohacking world and the athletics world is really interesting. But it sounds to me that there's an interesting area for you to explore with your company and athletes.
There is, and we're getting there. We're getting sports. We're getting accredited or whatever, so we can go into the sports world. So we've got a lot of athletes that we're working with an Olympic trainer in Switzerland. We're working, Ben Greenfield is a big athlete guy, but a lot of trainers who are working with elite athletes. And here's the thing. The athletes come to them, they're taking tons of electrolytes, they've got cramping, they've got dehydration issues, they've got depletion issues. And I just tell them, please stop the salt-based electrolytes. I could tell you many stories, and just try using these, and they never go back.
Really?
Yeah, and we have a tennis pro in August, it's like 106 or something, like crazy, and he's doing a tennis tournament. He's the only one coming off the court at the breaks with no cramping. And all the other guys are going like, what are you doing? Like, how does that happen? And he said, Beam Minerals.
That's great.
Yeah.
And do you think the salt-based electrolytes are even worse than the ones which are perhaps lower in sodium but higher in potassium?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that happens. When you put a lot of salt, concentrated salt in your gut, even the potassium is usually salts. They're made with salts. They're not made with, so plant-based minerals, they're not salts. It's not a salt molecule. So when you put a lot of concentration of salt in your gut, your body says, okay, I need to get rid of this concentration. Now you urinate more. When you do it on a regular basis, it actually irritates the lining of the bladder and kidney, makes you have frequent urination. Talk to any athlete who's using them, they'll say, oh yeah, I just urinate constantly. I mean, like,
right.
Urination machine, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening then, they're flushing the system. They're not hydrating. Remember, we have to get the H2O into the cells. That's hydration. Into the bloodstream. That's hydration. Just running through you. The other issue is that people are using filtered and distilled water that has no minerals. So empty water, we call it empty water, goes straight through you. Your body doesn't know how to utilize it.
Yeah. What do you make of hydrogen water?
Oh, I think hydrogen water is great.
Do you?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one where if I drink, because we've got a couple of hydrogen bottles at home. Again, my wife loves it. I can have a few sips of it.
Oh, and
it's hydrating me so much that it actually creates a bit of a gut issue. But I just need the low dose introduction zone.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens to you once you start using the humic and fulvic on a regular basis. Are you using them regularly?
No, I'm coming to you this weekend.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So
yeah.
I'm telling you, hydration in the body changes dramatically with people once they start using the minerals, because the body starts to be able to absorb and assimilate that H2O much more efficiently.
Oh my God, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can drink less H2O and feel more hydrated.
Yeah.
I mean, across the board, people tell that.
That's great. And I do feel for the histamine intolerant listeners, and I'm going to release, I've got a separate podcast, the Histamine Intolerance podcast. I'm going to release a bit of this for that as well, because I think people will be interested. And I feel that there's always a bit of a balance with hydration and electrolytes and minerals that normal people don't necessarily have to worry about. So I think they're going to be really fascinated by what you've talked about.
Yeah. I hold a close place in my heart for people with histamine intolerance, because I've struggled with it all my life. And I'm so much better now.
Oh, yeah.
So much better. Yeah.
Me too. It's a relief, isn't it?
It is.
Well, look, congratulations on it. I know you've got a Hay House book coming out next year, haven't you?
Oh, I do. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I kind of it's hard to think about, but yes.
Is it written?
It's written. It's at the publisher. I'm waiting for the last edited version. We're working on a cover design. It's called The Mineral Reset.
Lovely. Can we do another podcast before that book comes out?
I'd love to do that. Thank you very much.
That'd be great. And I will look forward to reading that as well. Now, I want to ask you about your routine then, your biohacking day. How does your morning routine look when you get up in the morning? What sort of things do you do? Are you full Mark Wahlberg, waking up at 2:00 in the morning, cryotherapy, or is it a little bit calmer? How does it look for you?
Well, first of all, I am not a morning person. I've always wanted to be, but not my natural thing. So my partner gets up very early. I'm not. I'm like 6:37 a.m. My practice is more internal, probably more emotional. So I use something called the Ho'oponopono. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No,
it's
I haven't.
It's a Hawaiian tradition, shamanic tradition, and they have a practice. It's called the care of the unhepili, which is the care of the child. And it's a process that you just sit with yourself, and each day I say, okay, here's what's going on today. This is what's going to happen. I always look before I go to bed at night so I know, and then I have a little conversation with my inner child, and I talk about, usually I always imagine, the mother in the grocery store who's grabbing her child and saying, "We're going now," and the child screaming, and that's how I spent my life with myself, dragging myself around. And now it's much more of a holistic practice that sets me up for the day. I even ask what snacks she wants, and I pack a bag. I'm like, oh, we're going to bring these snacks with us today. And
that sounds great.
It's amazing. I'm telling you, it has radically changed my life. Radically. Even sometimes it'll be like, she's like, I don't want to do that, whatever it is. I'm like, okay, well, maybe if we do this, then would you be willing? So we have a little negotiation. I know it sounds a little funny, but
I
really
know
works.
you're keen on NLP as well, neuro-linguistic programming. And another word for what you're doing could be that you're just tapping into your unconscious and your unconscious mind.
Well, and that's exactly in the Hawaiian tradition, the unhepili is the subconscious.
Yeah.
They're synonymous.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So you said you're doing some of that the night before, and again, that's really lovely. I mean, one of the things we say in NLP is, you can give your unconscious mind some suggestions before you go to sleep, and that's what you're doing as you sleep, isn't it?
It's so true. And I love NLP. It's been incredibly effective for me in my life. And that's what it really is an NLP exercise, what I'm doing, because I'm doing that, preparing my subconscious for the thing, in the Hawaiian tradition, they say the subconscious, right in this moment, your subconscious, my subconscious, we is experiencing everything. Out on the street, we can see, hear the cars, everything, the sound, the breeze, the air. I can see you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I was having a chat it's nice being in this recording studio in London. And I was having a chat with my friend last night who we used to work in radio and TV for many years. And I was telling him that despite the fact that I haven't worked in TV for a few years, I still have these crazy dreams about working in TV. Consciously, I don't miss it at all. In fact, I'm really glad I don't work in TV anymore, but I do this instead, which I'm very passionate about. Yeah. But my unconscious is definitely still thinking about it.
Still in a process.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds better than picking up your phone first thing in the morning and having a little scroll.
Yeah, exactly. It really is so much better. And literally, I'm lying in bed. It's the first moment that I come into consciousness. So before I've reached for the phone or whatever it is, I'm just lying and I'm coming awake, letting the light hit my eyes, starting to let my conscious, and then I do that practice.
Great.
And then, there's
minerals,
supplements, exactly. My minerals, my matcha. I love matcha.
Yeah. And then what time are you going to bed at night?
I'm not an early to bedder. I'm probably 11. I try to get to bed by 11:30. Yeah. I like to read. So that's a problem. If you like to read, then sometimes the book is just too good.
This is the problem with a good book. It eats into your sleep time. Brian Johnson would not recommend.
It's reading at night before bed, right?
That's why you need, you need sort of a slightly dry non-fiction book for bedtime, and then you'll be asleep in five minutes.
Not my book, though.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, your book won't be like that at all. Caroline, really lovely to meet you. Thanks for coming in. Look forward to your talk over the weekend. And where can people find more about Beam Minerals?
You can just go to beamminerals.com. You can also follow us on Beam Minerals. I think it's Beam Minerals Official. On Instagram, you can find me at carolineallen.com or I think it's mineralresetbook.com.
Great. Yeah. And I know the code Tony gives listeners a certain amount off, and we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Yeah, it's 20% off.
20% off. That's good.
Or maybe it's 15 in the UK.
I think it's 20, you know.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that'll be a nice little surprise for people.
Exactly.
All right, Caroline, really lovely to chat, and
So
thanks for
lovely.
coming on Biohacking News.
Thank you so much.